Hi all. This is a video designed to show you how to complete assignment 3.1 in SPSS. And if you notice 3.1, we're asked to calculate central tendency measures of mean, median, mode, as well as the standard deviation and a confidence interval for all of the variables that are presented in this Excel spreadsheet. It's also here in SPSS. I'll start off with the Excel spreadsheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is open SPSS. And then in SPSS, I'll go up to File, Open, Data. And I save the things I'm working on to my desktop, so I know that the file is here. But notice that I'm looking for an Excel spreadsheet, and here I have files that are SPSS files. So I want to click on this arrow, and from the drop-down menu, I'll go looking for Excel files. And here it is, week 3 data. So I'll open that. This prompt is designed to kind of default to reading variable names from the first row of data, and that's how our data spreadsheet is set up. So I'll go ahead and choose that one. I'll click OK. And so now I've imported my Excel spreadsheet into SPSS. And just a couple of quick notes, well actually 3 quick notes before we get into the assignment, just to show you something about this spreadsheet. Again, you'll notice the variables are across the top. I deleted the participant column. I usually don't have a participant column. SPSS doesn't require that. You notice even without it, I have the numbers on the left here. It shows me my participants. So I usually don't do that. You don't have to change the spreadsheet to do that. That's maybe a matter of preference, opinion. You'll notice that in these variables, I changed them to all caps. That's what I'm used to seeing. So when I see an acronym having all caps, it kind of alerts me to the fact that it's probably a variable. I usually try to keep these at under 8 characters. I shorten them where I can to where they make sense to me. These last two variables, smoking, this is actually smoking history, I would say, and diabetes, are nominal data. And so I wanted to make a brief comment about the way these are coded. You might have a lot of variables, and from time to time, if you go back and look, you might say, well, wait, what was 0, what was 1? It doesn't really matter for SPSS, but it seems to me it's very intuitive the way this one was set up. And by the way, I did not set up this data spreadsheet nor this assignment, but smoking to me is coded well because 0 is not smoking and 1 is smoking. So if I look at the 0, it kind of means nothing, so no smoking. That's intuitive. They kind of missed it on diabetes, though. 1 means not diabetic, 2 is a type 1, 3 is a type 2. I would have set this up as 0, 1, and 2, where 0 is not diabetic, or no diabetes. 1 is type 1 diabetes, and type 2 diabetes would have been a number 2. But again, that's a matter of preference. If you look on the Excel spreadsheet, there is a coding sheet as sheet 2 with that. So without further ado, let's show you how to run these in SPSS very quickly. The first thing I want to do is go to Analyze, and all of my descriptive statistics type of way of analyzing data is going to be under this one heading, Descriptive Statistics, and there are actually 3. We have Frequencies, Descriptives, and Explore. So let's go to Frequencies first. And with every SPSS test, what you'll notice that is in the left window, we have all the variables that are on the spreadsheet, and the ones we're interested in, for whatever reason, we'll always be moving them to the right, and we'll be doing it by clicking on this arrow. So I'm just going to highlight each one, move it over. I have a Mac, and I have trouble moving many things over, even in iTunes, without doing it one at a time. So if you can do this all at the same time, that's really great. You'll notice as I'm moving these over, each one has a little icon by it, and I want to mention that at the start. The little ruler means it's scale or interval or continuous data, and these 3 little bubbles mean that it's nominal data. Ordinal data, we usually see it looks like something more like a little ladder, but we'll get to that in another session. So now that I've moved them over, I want to pick statistics, and you can pick any of these that you're interested in, you were asked for mean, median, mode for central tendency. You were not asked for quartiles or percentiles. Standard deviation, I always choose range. Skewness, kurtosis is always interesting, but you didn't have to do that. And then we simply press OK. Oh, before we go do that, charts, if you wanted to run a bar chart or pie chart or histogram on these, you certainly could do it there. And so we simply click OK. And now in this one table we have all of the results that we needed for this assignment except confidence interval. But you can see that they're all listed there. Even the ones that are meaningless, and that was something that you should note, smoking and diabetes are nominal data. So we really, mean is not a good way to measure central tendency with those. So you might want to mention that. But let's close that out. Let's do it again. We'll go back up to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics. Now let's go and see what's in this heading, Descriptives. And I'm just going to move one of these variables over because we're not going to really use this. I just like to kind of work my way around, navigate around, try to find where things are. Under Descriptives, when I put a variable over, I can choose options. And here you'll notice I only have the choice of mean, standard deviation, range. I don't have the other, and kurtosis, skewness, of course. But there are actually less choices here than there were in the frequency, so I don't use this one that often, to be honest with you. So I'm going to cancel that. And we'll close that out. And let's try it one more time. We'll go back up to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics. This time we're going to go down to Explore. And because you asked the confidence interval, we can do it here by simply, again, moving all the variables. I'm just going to move them into this dependent list. We're not actually analyzing anything. We're just gathering descriptive statistics on these samples, which, by the way, everyone did an outstanding job explaining the use of descriptive statistics. I thought the discussions on that were excellent. So now I've moved them all over, and I'll go to Statistics here. And under Descriptives, I'll choose confidence interval for mean. I could change this to a different number, but our standard is typically 95%. I'll press Continue. Under Plots, some of y'all found the stem and leaf plots, and you can certainly do that, histograms. You can choose whichever of these is of interest to you. I'll just leave it selected. Let's look at what's under Options. No, we don't need any of that. So let's go ahead and press OK. And before we get into what we just found out, I want you to notice that what SPSS does, it just continues to add on whatever it is you've been working on. So you'll have these extremely long files. And I'll come back and show you how to export files to a Word document. It's a very simple process, but I'll make it as a separate video so that this video doesn't get too long. But again, here you can see this is a file. I'll come back in a minute actually to start that video, but I'll transfer this one over and I'll show you how to resize it. That was an issue some of y'all asked about. I would not report any of these files. This is nice data, but it's not going to really answer the questions we have. Here we get into the other table that's of interest to us because it'll march out each of these variables and it'll show us the confidence interval. Notice for mean, the mean age is about 48 years in age, but we have a 95% certainty that the mean of our population is probably somewhere between 44 and say 53. So I hope this video has been helpful in describing how to get basic descriptive statistics on a data set from Excel in SPSS. Thank you.